Hey, I'm just glad I didn't fall asleep outside on the damn balcony when the damn tornado hurricane came through.
That was pretty funny.
That was the funniest moment of the weekend, was when Matt Mcilwain got locked out, which I don't know who locked him out.
I did.
Oh, you locked him out, you asshole.
On purpose?
Yeah, on purpose.
And then
Grab the KY, get yourself ready. You got some sliding to do. Hanging out with TL and the boys, maybe some critters too. So get your phone and get on the gram. You know where to find the man. Slide into the DMs. Girl, what's on your mind? Slide into the DMs. Well, baby, take your time. Slide, slide, slip it on in. Here we go again. DM Monday.
What's up, y'all? Trey Lewis here. You're listening to my podcast, DM Monday. How's it going, fellas?
it's going good. I'm glad Bonner's here. I didn't know if we would see Bonner today.
Bonner's alive.
I'm
How was
alive.
Bonnaroo?
I survived.
Bonner at Bonnaroo.
Our tents didn't make it. Man, I honestly don't even know what happened at Bonnaroo. I just remember Saturday night, there was this wizard that was running around, and like from there on, I was like, I don't know what even happened this
A
weekend.
wizard?
Yeah, people were like wearing costumes, and there's a guy in a wizard costume.
Like Harry Potter or something?
Yeah, basically. But he was just like running, and he ran into a friend of ours.
So who were you there with?
Brian Fraser, Jordan Hobson, and Holly Fraser.
Nice.
That's a good crew to go with.
was
Did
pretty
you get
solid.
your haircut before or after?
I got a cut before.
I think, you look like a whole new person.
I know, and I shaved the beard too, because I kind of had a beard going
With
on.
a mustache back.
Feels like me again.
Yeah. Did you wash your hair today? It looks.
I washed it this morning at 4 when I got back from Bonnaroo, because I didn't wash it from Wednesday to this morning.
Did you sleep at all?
No.
Damn.
Well, kind of. Not very much, because there's shit's going on all night till like 6 a.m. There's like sunrise DJ sets.
Oh, wow.
So who was like the coolest act where you were like, that
Machine
was-
Gun Kelly just fucked tons of pyro and shit was blowing up.
Did you do any, like, other than weed? Did you do any
Nah,
real drugs?
I got spooked out. I wanted to.
Damn,
but
I thought you were going to do mushrooms.
I was going to. I just got nervous.
What was the wildest?
It was just so hot that I was like, I don't know how I'm going to feel while I'm miserably hot and on shrooms.
Well, it looked like you just experienced all of the elements except for snow. Like you guys had wind, you had rain, you had thunder and lightning, you had heat, you had
Pretty much. It was
humidity.
like full Narnia.
Full Narnia.
Yeah, with like animals and shit, and I don't even know.
Oh, wow. Me and Alex were headed to Atlanta Wednesday to do a Kid Rock show, and we stopped, and I was like, dude, let's get Waffle House. And when we stopped, it's like Wednesday. I'm like, why are all these fucking people at Waffle House? And we were in whatever town, was it Winchester?
Oh, you are in Manchester?
Yeah, Manchester.
Damn, we had a Waffle House before Bonnaroo too, so we probably were fucking right there.
Yeah, right off the exit. Right
yeah,
there, right.
Yeah.
And the people were like, y'all going to Bonnaroo? I was like, do I look like I would fucking go to Bonnaroo?
But Alex is like built for Bonner.
I dressed like a frat guy going in. Like me and Brian, we wore collared shirts and everything, and
Yep.
professional, so they wouldn't, search our cars.
They said people die out there.
Yeah, they do. There's people just like passed out everywhere. Like luckily, like I slept during Tool. I got so like when you get
Tool was there?
yeah, you know how when you get
Fuck.
so high you like just can't function. You're just like,
Yeah.
I gotta go to sleep. So
Yeah.
that's what happened during Tool. I was trying to get on everybody else's level who was just like doing actual drugs, and I just like couldn't. I just
See,
collapsed and went to sleep
the
pretty
Tool
much.
show's wild because Maynard, the lead singer, like isn't on stage. So it's like you probably don't remember it because you were trying to get to proper Tool level. But like if you look up their videos on YouTube, it's like only thing on stage is the band, and the lead singer's like behind the drum kit. Like
Yeah.
he's not on stage. You just see his shadow. Like
for all
on
the
the
other
thing.
acts, they put them up on the big screen where you could see them. They just had trippy ass like
Yeah.
graphics, and they weren't lit up. So I was like, fuck this. I crawled into a fucking ball in Jordan's hammock and went to sleep. And it's like, wake me up when it's over.
Damn.
trying to sleep during a Tool show
I
is
did.
like a nightmare.
It was awesome. It was the best sleep I got. I have
I
pictures I,
didn't
could
even
show
know
you.
they were like they're still huge then, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Turnpike was there, right?
Turnpike. We saw Turnpike, Paul Coffin.
How was that?
Dude, Turnpike was pretty lit, honestly.
Because
They,
they haven't been a band for a while,
they
right?
played at like 12:15 at midnight.
Yeah, Evan just got out of rehab.
Is it all the original members?
I'm honestly not sure.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
We saw our Lord and Savior Sacco
Yeah.
from Q6 Media,
He was
the video.
full wacko, right?
Honestly, I don't know. The last day I saw him, I don't even really. I was like, dude, I don't even remember if we talked, but I'm sorry. But the first day I was sober and we hung out and it was a good time.
He was full wacko then.
Yeah, he probably was. Well, yeah, because he had at least 4 beers when I saw him in the first hour, so he was.
We were talking in the group chat And I was like, I love Wacko because y'all are all kind of shitting on him.
Yeah.
He's like, at least somebody does. And then I shit right on him. I was like, yeah, I just love him because he's just like Mcilwain, just less inbred.
But when he shit back on Mcilwain, he's like, "Is this too much?" I was like, "There's no such thing. Send it."
What did he say?
Something about Selma. I don't really remember.
That's funny.
Selma, the Birmingham. So Atlanta, Charlotte, Raleigh,
Y'all went to Six Flags, right?
and Six
Yeah.
Flags.
Yeah, Six Flags was badass. There's hardly anybody there. I mean, I doubt that place stays open another year. I mean, it's just like nobody there.
Never been.
We rode every ride twice.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. So there's this ride at Six Flags called the Scream Machine. Mcilwain doesn't ride roller coasters, but you've never been. Have you?
We have a Six Flags in New Jersey.
Okay.
So it's a different set of rides, like the same concept.
No, there was this ride there called the Ninja, and it's like the worst. Like guaranteed to like fuck your neck up or like get a headache every time. It's really rough. So we see this roller coaster where the Ninja used to be, and basically we get on it. We're like, yeah, that's the same ride. Like they just repainted it. You know, Alex is like, this is what you call polishing a turd. But like, dude, we had a great weekend. It was pretty chill. You know, like when we're not doing after parties, the Kid Rock stuff is so easy, and you just have like so much downtime. But Wednesday night we played in Atlanta. I mean, it was so hot, dude. Like, I don't know. I mean, just standing outside, like you're just dripping sweat.
Yeah.
So we get to our hotel. It's called the Reverb by Hard Rock. And it was fucking terrible. It was like a smart hotel. Like the last thing you want to do when you're checking in. So if Reverb by Hard Rock, if you're listening, your hotel fucking sucks in Atlanta.
It sounds fancy. Like
But
it
it's like
sounds like a nice hotel.
the last thing you want to do after being on the road all day is go self-check yourself into a fucking hotel. You know what I mean? It's
That's
like a
the
kiosk
worst.
machine. Like you got to put your email in and like all this shit. The last thing you want to do is like put your email in so they can send you 500 more emails. You know what I mean? And then we get up to our room and then like the thermostat's like so hard to even understand how to get it going. And then it just doesn't blow cool air. So we were just like hot.
I feel that way about here.
And Alex like used the polishing a turd like line there. He's like, this is bullshit. And then I don't know. The next night we played that acoustic show in Woodowee, Alabama, which Alex kept calling it We Do We.
We do we.
It was very much like playing that acoustic gig was very much like the old days of me and Terry playing acoustic shows.
It's cool you were able to bring Terry with you on
Yeah,
that
and
too.
people knew who we were and they like knew my songs. But it was very like much set up like a Mexican restaurant gig. Like we had a good time. It was awesome. They paid us really well. We stayed after and, you know, took pictures and, you know, there was critters there and all that stuff.
Sold out of koozies.
Yeah, sold out of koozies. It was fun, man. It was a good time. Really enjoyed that. And then we leave there and we drive back. I was like, let's just get through Atlanta because you know how Atlanta traffic can be. So we stayed at this Hampton Inn. We're like, okay, new hotel, like no problems. I was like, and it was so hot that night. It was like super hot. I was like, all I want to do is just take like a nice hot shower and like get in the bed and go to bed. And we get to the hotel and the hot water's out.
Fuck yeah.
Go dogs.
So like at that point we started doing this thing with Alex where we were like, every time we get in traffic, Alex would be like, hell yeah, dude, I've been waiting all day for this. I can't wait to sit in traffic. Like we played a bunch of disc golf. I almost beat his ass.
Damn.
Yeah, we got to like the 9th hole and he was only up 1 stroke on me.
Wow.
Yeah. So I got a new disc. I don't know what it's called.
So you didn't throw just your T-Bird over and over and over and over?
No. I usually just throw the soul. But yeah, so we did that, and then we went to Raleigh, which Mark Addison Chandler came out and brought his kids, and then Randy
Adams.
I want to say Randy Jackson from American Idol for some reason.
That'd be cool too.
That would have been a wild green room hang.
That's a no for me, dog.
Back-to-back weeks, Ric Flair and Randy Jackson. That would have
But
been
Mark
wild.
came out to Raleigh and brought his 2 kids, so I got to meet his kids, which his kids were like surprisingly like really good kids, you know.
Yeah, he's a West Point grad. Like
yeah,
he's
I know.
gonna.
But remember the first time you met Mark?
Oh, I have pictures of the first time I met Mark. That was a
I don't think I've
great
ever
night.
met Mark.
For those who don't know, Mark is a songwriting friend of mine, Mark Addison Chandler. We wrote Backup Man and anybody other and a bunch of other songs.
And
together.
and if you're here in Nashville, Thursday nights at Live Oak, he hosts Grindhouse Nashville, the
Grindhouse,
Midtown
not
Grind.
Grinder, but Grindhouse.
But what was Raleigh like being another one of the DDID cities?
It was cool, man. I'm starting to like really kind of get in a groove with the Kid Rock stuff, and it's pretty cool. Like every night, walking out on stage and just like, especially with the amphitheaters, like you can see all the way to the
Oh, I
back.
love the amphitheater setups.
Like in the arenas, all you can really see is like what's in front of you. You can't
Yeah.
really see like way out. But in the amphitheater, you can see everything, and just like looking out into the crowd and seeing phone lights all the way to the back. Like it's not the whole crowd, but you can see them. You know what I mean? It's like really cool. And like I feel like this year I've done like I said I was going to do. I feel like I've done a really good job of like enjoying the moment.
Well, what I can't wait for
We
is
still got like 30 shows left.
something. Yeah, it's crazy. Like it just never ends. This weekend coming up, you singing Dick Down in Dallas at the Dos Equis Pavilion in Dallas, Texas.
In Dallas.
Is going to be a fucking moment, dude.
It's going to be insane.
I'm really excited for that. And going back to two venues, one for an after party, one for a headlining date, Mavericks in Buda, Texas. I got it right this time, Sacco, Buda. And going back to Rowdy's in spring.
Rowdy's in spring.
Should be a good time.
Yeah. I remember you had a thing with the merch girl that night.
I had a good time last time in Rowdy's. She don't live there no more. But,
Where she live now?
She went back to Oregon.
Oh, I thought you were from
Damn,
Colorado.
you made her move back home, bro.
Made her leave.
Gave her the egg roll.
Is she related to Mark Wariat?
Did you see the thing that I sent you today on Instagram? The dude Savi or whatever, the comedian.
No.
He was like, "Do we have any uncirced brethren in here? Like uncircumcised brethren?"
Oh, yeah, 'cause you're uncircumcised.
No, I am not uncircumcised.
He was about to show his dick to
I
Big
am
Tom,
not.
though.
I was about to show my dick to Big Tom to
Yeah,
prove
he was
it.
going to make a point.
I was like, oh no, I gotta go hang out with Ric Flair.
I gotta go hang out with Ric Flair. Woo!
Did you get to spend some time with your dad?
I did. I got to spend some time with my dad. I ate a lot of seafood.
Did he make fun of you?
No, he actually didn't. The
You ate some
Blasio,
seafood?
my stepdad is the one that gives me
bust your
shit, that
balls
busts my
on.
balls. But no, we chilled out, watched, we played a lot of cribbage, smoked a lot of cigars. I probably smoked like 8 or 9 cigars this
Do
week.
your lungs not hurt?
No, I mean it's just what we do, man.
Damn.
It's just what we do. Like you go to Bonnaroo and party and have a weekend.
Yeah,
you
and I
don't
feel
remember.
terrible.
Yeah, I mean I don't mind going to cigars and sitting around with a bunch of old fat bald dudes talking in Boston accents, you know. Like it was a good time and lots of seafood. Lots of lobster.
And y'all went to the beach.
Did
And
you
we
eat
did
any
go to the beach.
unpeeled shrimp?
No.
Did they peel their shrimp there?
They peel the shrimp before they give
Yeah.
it to you there, man.
we
We
gotta
don't
go there.
have Bubba Gump shrimp shit up there. Lobster and haddock.
I
and
don't know. Do
scallops.
they know this story?
Who?
Have we talked
Our
about
viewers, our friends.
I'm pretty sure the viewers have heard this, but if you want to tell it again, go for it. We've got a studio audience member. I'm sure Mcilwain will love to chime in. We've got him
Yeah,
on the-
Mcilwain's got a camera now and a microphone.
He's got the,
Fuck you, Matt McIlwain.
He's got the donkey dink microphone over there, my RE20 fancy radio mic.
So we played, where was it? Panama City? We did like a spring break thing.
This was the first spring break.
Yeah. The one where there was
St. Patty's
actually
Day.
people there.
St. Patrick's Day with the foam party that night.
And I
That
think
was-
Gucci Mane played it, right? Didn't
Oh,
Gucci?
Jack Harlow and Afro Man played that
Damn,
as
so
well.
Gucci
Oh, it
Mane
was
went
Travis Porter or something.
No, or it might have been. I think well, it was.
I think it was Afro
It was
Man.
Travis Porter, Afro Man, and Jack Harlow
Yeah.
were the other 3 acts. It was a
Yeah, there was
incredible
actually
day.
people there.
I
Remember the
love
second
Gucci
one?
Mane.
There was nobody there
The second one, there was nobody. There wasn't.
except for Ryan Nelson and a Trey Lewis like cut off shirt.
in his Tennessee Vols DDID.
Yeah, he was fucking thriving. Dude. He had like Sig in each hand, probably throwing it around.
Yeah. So we did that, and then we stayed in this like condo. This was before we were like really getting a lot of hotel rooms. We just Airbnb'd like a condo, and we ordered a bunch of food like into the condo, and we're all like sitting around like eating shrimp and like whatever. And Brill's like, Alex goes, "Yeah, that shrimp's not really good," and Brill goes, "Yeah, really spicy." And Alex goes, hold on. Did you just eat an unpeeled shrimp? Like Brill ate the whole thing. He didn't know you were supposed to peel it.
Yeah, I'd never peeled shrimp a day in my life. We don't have that.
Y'all do have
No, we
that.
don't.
All right. Comment if y'all do have peeled shrimp.
Ask Kara if she's ever peeled a shrimp before.
I'm pretty sure she has. I mean, we went to Denver. They gave us unpeeled shrimp.
Well, that was out in Denver. I'm saying ask some of my northern like Yankee folk, and it's like the cocktail shrimp with like the shrimp boats, the cold
Seems
shrimp.
pretty normal.
It's not something.
Yeah, I don't get.
Hey, I'm just glad I didn't fall asleep outside on the damn balcony when the damn tornado hurricane came through.
That was pretty funny.
That was the funniest moment of the weekend was when Matt Mcilwain got locked out. Which I don't know who locked him out.
I did.
Oh, you locked him out, you asshole.
On purpose?
Yeah, on purpose.
And then you hear the tornado sirens going off in Panama City, like the one time they have a tornado. Matt McIlwain's banging on there like a stray cat.
I think there was like for like a year or so. I always hated McIlwain because he got drunk. He acted like an idiot. But now I just love it. Like
you embrace it.
I embrace it. I hang it up. But at that point, I was still kind of like hating on him for it. So I was like, I'm gonna lock his ass out here.
He was hilarious. So mad.
Did you wake up? What happened? How'd you get back inside, McIlwain?
Probably Alex.
I think I slept all the way through everything and finally woke up to like a towel on me or something.
Soaking wet.
I was like, well, funniest part about the shrimp thing too, Devontae didn't peel his shrimp either, but he just didn't tell nobody.
Yeah, so then I got all the shit and Devontae was sitting there just laughing. And he didn't touch a shrimp.
That's funny.
Did we talk about your Redneck Matt last week?
We talked about it a lot.
So last week...
This caused me to leave the band group chat because I'm so embarrassed about my past.
Last episode, we had Jordan Rager on. And you outed yourself. Burrell talked about having a radio show, and he called himself Redneck Matt. What was it called? Redneck Radio?
I inherited it. I wasn't the founder. It was There was a Redneck Matt. There was a Mountain Man. There was a Cowboy Schmeeb. There was a Mick the Hick, and there was a Sexy Lexi.
This is pretty solid, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. And dude,
those are pretty catchy names,
dude. Like we did a lot of. I felt like I was big shit at that little college radio station, drinking my fifth of Southern Comfort every day. Yeah. Like I was doing.
Anyway, so cool Alex goes and finds all these videos of Burrell doing these interviews. It's just a young. Alex, Alex is like, dude, he's grown so much. But I was like, honestly, it just looks like a younger Burrell, you know?
I was chubby.
You're still doing the talking with your hands.
And I think I've gotten better. It was really
you're
bad
definitely better.
Then.
I mean, if you watch some of the raw clips of me doing interviews that Bonner has or Alex has, like, I would probably leave the group message too, but
well, when you have your Netflix documentary, I'm gonna save all this footage.
Yeah. I mean, there's some interviews. I mean, like we did some stuff with like an online station in New Zealand.
Yeah,
and we called it because we had like these Australian artists that were coming up at the time, and I forget the names of them. Nobody that was like really big. We thought they were big because we were just a little 25-watt college radio station. We did like a late night special. It was really just an excuse so that we could party and do a radio show. Yeah. So we did it to coincide with happy hour on a Friday in Australia. So we did it from midnight to 2 a.m. on a Thursday, and we just got hammered. But we called it Down Under Thunder. Now, if you've ever heard of Down Under Thunder, that is a male strip show with Australian male strippers. So we had all these weird old ladies calling into our show, asking us what we were wearing and all this shit. We had no idea. I'm like,
this is awesome.
I'm like, dude, I'm wearing a cutoff and a pair of cargo camouflage shorts.
7-inch inseam, baby.
What the fuck are we talking
Bonner's
about
next
here?
job.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, are they hiring?
Dude, with that mustache, I'm sure they would you'd be that little guy that would fucking sneak out somewhere.
Yeah.
That'd be an experience. But yeah, Redneck Matt was a thing. Just like you have T-Bird, just like you have your dread days. Like we all have our days of back in the, like how we've changed over the years.
Yeah, my mom gave me that name.
Your mom gave you that?
Trey Bird.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought that was like your Malibu's Most Wanted name.
Mom gave me that name, and then they started calling me that when I was playing baseball. And I mean, dude, we had this team, like we should have been the best team. I'm not saying I sucked at baseball, but like we had every badass player you could have, and like, dude, we would get up like 13-0 and just like lose games.
Did they have you at first base just being a tall guy?
Oh no, dude, I was in left field where nobody hits the ball. Like I sucked, bro. Every time I striked out or like missed a ball or something, I would cuss and cry and fucking just. What's that? Yeah, worst loser ever.
Dude, I got this is what we're talking about. My parents are gonna love me telling this story. So my family's like really big into baseball. Like my great grandpa played.
By the way, you're saved in my phone as Redneck Matt now.
I know. I saw that. I saw that.
Brutal.
People are gonna be like, "Oh, is that Mcilwain, the actual redneck?" No, it's Burrill. But my great grandpa like played for the Brooklyn Dodgers. My pop's in like the state of Maine Baseball Hall of Fame. Went to the League World Series. Like, my family was really big into baseball, which is why I love the Yankees. So growing up, my sister played softball. Me and my brother played baseball. My brother was good at baseball. My sister was good at softball. I was not good at baseball, and I one time was in a fall ball game. I threw a bunch of pitches. I hit the pitch limit of like how many you could throw. I threw a bat down in the dugout, like an aluminum bat. It popped up, hit a kid in the chin.
Damn.
Coach cussed me out and was like, "You're never playing in this little league again." And then I started playing golf and football.
You never played in the little league?
Never played again. I was like 12 years old, 13 years old.
Outlaw.
It literally popped up, hit a kid. Eric Torkelson. I'll never forget it. Hit him right in the chin.
You ever see that kid again?
No.
We should look him up on Facebook.
Did you play baseball or anything?
Yes, I did.
How was it?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I just kind of sucked because all the kids grew taller and I didn't. I was like, fuck.
Yeah. Oh, word of the week.
Word of the week. I want
Word of the week.
I want Mcilwain to read this because I feel like it's just going to sound better with him saying it. Do you have a sheet, Mcilwain?
Yeah, give me 2 seconds.
There you go. I want Mcilwain to read the word of the week. It just sounds country.
Mcilwain's no fun if he's not drunk, you know?
I know. He's way too serious.
Can be.
He's got too much responsibility. All right, Mcilwain.
Let me find it. Piddlin around. Burrill's always piddling around.
Yeah.
What do you think it means, Mcilwain?
I don't even know why you still work here. You're just always piddling around.
I don't know, man. I mean, I feel like this is like a Make-A-Wish project at this point.
It is.
Yeah, we're your sponsors.
I mean, hey, I do. Hey,
You get paid more than anybody in this whole band.
but piddling around. Had you ever heard that before?
Oh, yeah. I need to quit piddling around and get back to work.
Really? Like that's like an actual thing?
Yeah. What about you, Bonner? You've heard it, right?
100%.
I've never heard of piddling. It's like
That's what I did at my day job all day.
It's like where you're just like looking around on Snapchat or whatever.
Not doing what you're supposed to be
doing what you're supposed to be doing. Like get back to work.
it's just a country
some
way of
stuff
saying
undone.
quit fucking around.
Basically, what you do every weekend when we go on tour.
There we go.
Talking to girls and
Piddling Burrill.
we'll be like doing the meet and greet after the show, and you're like trying to get girls Snapchats
I
and
am
numbers.
not.
It's
I
like,
You gotta
am
get
not.
business cards printed with like the QR
I am
code.
not.
Here you go.
Hey.
I'm like, Brill, get your head in the game. Come on, man.
No, what I'm doing is I'm watching the wild shit, making sure it
yelling
goes-
at people. Yeah,
I get too stressed.
They're like, fuck it. I did want to meet Trey Lewis, but now I don't because this guy's yelling at us.
Hey, speaking of Matt McIlwain,
I'm
I know
just
we were
kidding.
trying to get a QR code
I'm just kidding.
for your near your drum set where girls could just scan and get your Snapchat. Did we ever get that done?
No, we need to make that happen then.
All right, I'll make it happen this week. Remind me tomorrow.
I bet you
love that.
Mcilwain gets more Snapchats and Instagram follows every weekend.
Dude,
than
that's
I
his
do.
first. That's like his pickup line. I'm like, hey, this is my drummer, Matt McIlwain. He's single and wants to fuck. And he's like, what's your Snapchat?
And she's like, I'm
Dude,
wet.
I've asked girls for their, like, I've learned now, depending on where you're at, if you're out on the road in a certain place, like in a certain college town, you can ask for Snapchat. But if you over a certain age, you can't ask a girl for her Snapchat.
My most
So you gotta ask for a phone
my
number.
most
at that
recent
point.
favorite McIlwain story is I was his wingman in Mountain Home, Arkansas.
Oh, dude, Mountain Home was wild.
Yeah, it was.
night.
I love that show. And we're going back in what, September?
September. Yep.
Thank you, Chef Daryl.
Second week of September.
Yeah, dude, Chef Daryl with the good food, the radio station out there. What we got to do is we got to get in there early in the day so we can get your ass on the water.
Yeah,
Trout fishing capital of the world, they say.
yeah.
So it'd be cool. To
Yeah,
see
if
you
anybody
out there.
in Mountain Home, Arkansas wants to take me fishing, I'll come down a day early or something.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Just throwing that out there, you know.
Throwing that out there. So who do we got as this guest today?
So we got a great guest today. He's a good friend of mine. His name is Jake Rose. Jake is he's a badass songwriter. We wrote my next single that's coming out. I don't know when, but it's called My Ex Came Over. We wrote it together, and we've written every time we've gotten together to write a song. He's great. He does tracks, and he's kind of got like that rock vibe. He was in a band called New Medicine. They still put out music and a rock band, and he's done some cool stuff. But I don't want to ruin it all. You know what I mean? I want to have the interview with him. So here's the interview with Jake Rose. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got Jake Rose today on the podcast. Y'all give it up for him. Yeehaw!
Yeehaw!
Hell yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Busy, but good.
What'd you do today?
was in the studio working on a track for my rock band today. Today was Rock Jake. Today,
New Medicine.
Yep.
Yeah, man of many hats here.
That's right.
So you have the rock band, New Medicine. You have your country thing you do under Jake Rose.
Yep.
And then you you write at Endurance.
Yep.
You're a published writer.
Yep.
And you produce some producing too.
Yeah,
right?
producing records too. So a lot of hats.
I told Bonner when we came in here I guess after I write, what did we write last Monday?
Yeah, a week ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and I came in here. I was like, dude, Bonner, Jake Rose wrote Beach Cowboy because me and him we fucking love that song.
It gets jammed on the road a lot
Hell
with
yeah,
us.
dude! I love that song, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, we love that song.
That's good. Somebody likes it. I like that.
Yeah, that's always my response when people are like, dude, we want to hear like the 2013. We want to hear
Country Boy Crazy.
Oh God.
The OGTL.
I've got this
That's
old
good.
record that I put out like when I was probably before I started playing gigs. I came up here and my friend Nolan Neal produced it, and I mean it was a great record for the time being. But like you can listen to that record, and my voice doesn't even sound like my voice,
Right.
You know?
Yeah, just early.
And it's just like I'm always just like glad somebody likes it, but we are not playing that shit in our live
Dude,
show.
I got about 3 or 4 of those records sitting in a closet at my dad's house.
Yeah, mine are still on the internet, you know.
Yeah.
But whatever, I still get the streaming check, so
That's right.
I'm just gonna
That's
keep
right.
It's all for me.
Yeah, Country Boy Crazy.
That's
just
awesome.
sit around at the house and play
Hell
it on
yeah.
repeat. That's great, man.
That's awesome.
So I want to hear about this rock band. We touched on it a little bit. How'd you get your start in that? Like, how'd you get your start in music? I know you're from Minnesota, right?
Yep, from Minnesota, kind of like 30 minutes outside of Minneapolis, and it's kind of like here where once you get past I don't know, Mount Juliet, or once you get past Brentwood and Franklin, it's like you're 30 minutes, but as soon as you get off that road, all of a sudden it starts like suburb country, and I was right on the border.
Oh,
where
yeah.
like I went to school, I grew up on a farm. We had 2,000 acres of corn, soybeans,
Wow.
and we had like 100 beef cattle. So I grew up on a farm, but I went to school with a bunch of rich kids that lived in the suburbs, right in the nice part of it. I lived on the farm side, so I was always kind of like the farm kid, but at my school or whatever. But my dad had a southern rock band. They played like all Skinner, Allman Brothers, Charlie Daniels.
Hell yeah.
That's all he played. And like I always tell the story when I was a kid, my dad always played Sweet Home Alabama, and I thought he wrote it because I was like, well, that's my dad's song. He plays that song. You know what I mean? They're like, well, that's Leonard Skinner. I'm like, well, no, my dad plays that
swear,
shit.
man.
I swear.
Yeah.
Can we cuss on here or not?
Yeah, do whatever you want, dude.
Thank
Say
God, 'cause
whatever.
I was thinking too hard, yeah. But anyways, yeah, I
Just
grew
know it's on the internet forever.
Yeah,
We have a
that's
guy
it.
that checks to make sure it's appropriate.
We have producers and editors and stuff.
Okay. But anyways, yeah, I kind of like my dad had a band with my uncle, and they farmed, and then they played 3 nights a week, covers, all those that stuff. And I just kind of grew up near the stage, and I don't know, I was hooked early. I thought whatever my dad was going to do, I was going to do. I was going to farm and play music. That's
Yeah.
what I wanted to do. And still to this day, that's all I really would want to do is I'm doing music, and, that's a little easier than farming.
Yeah.
So if music ever stops working out for me, then I'll go back to
But
farming.
I mean, you were introduced to that grind for a long time because farming
Definitely.
is not like easy work.
No, it's up and at 'em, and I'm still that way. It's just kind of, and it's not, until the job's done. It's not, you ain't done until the job's done. You know what I mean, kind of thing.
I know we had that right with Jason one morning, and like I was just like, I think it was on a Monday, and I just came in from the road, but he sent us the tracks at like 8 or
was it.
something like that, and you were like, yeah, man, I'm hearing this on this one, and like
Yeah,
I was
I'm
just
up
like,
at it,
damn,
yeah.
I'm just like brushing my teeth trying to get it
Yeah.
together,
Yeah.
and you're already on it. I mean, we came in there, we wrote that song. I mean,
Quick.
you wrote it in
No,
an
that
hour and a
was
half.
fun. That was, I just had it kind of came to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I kind of grew up around that, and then just I don't know. When I was 12, I got a guitar and started writing my own stuff. I got into Nirvana, and I just thought, wow, it's awesome to write. I want to write my own songs because Kurt Cobain did that, and that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Started bands then and whatever, but I was like dead serious right then. I was not like, oh, maybe this will just be something I do for fun.
Yeah.
I was like, nope. And I played one variety show at my school, and every girl after that was like, all
What's a variety show?
just like
Like a talent show?
Yeah, like a talent
Yeah,
show
talent
at the
show.
school. Yeah. Somebody does a dance, somebody does, and I had a band, and we played like Nirvana, Lithium.
Yeah.
And I just crushed it, dude.
Yeah.
It was
Hell
like,
yeah.
Dude, the girls were all about it after that, and so I was like, "Screw football, dude. This is way cooler. I'm playing guitar and writing songs." So kind of did that, but I was pretty serious pretty quick. And then I had a first band called Counterculture, and we made like a record. We wrote a bunch of songs there, garbage, but we were figuring it all out. Went to the studio and all that. But when I was like in a junior, that's when I really got serious, and I met my guitar player Dan, and he just had the same like I want to do something, like I want to get the fuck out of here and do something, and so we just kind of met in tech class or whatever, wood shop or something, and we would just talk. We were always on, that was like MySpace days, and we were always like talking about all the bands on MySpace. Like I don't even remember My Chemical Romance and like Seosin and all these bands, and we were like, "This is
your top 8."
Yeah,
of what
exactly,
you had,
dude. Top 8, and we started a band right then and there, and we would start. Like my dad had a barn, with all the tractors, but we built a little room on the front. And that was, we still do. I'm about to go there this week and practice, but it's the jam room. Because my dad was like, you can't be fucking jamming at...
Did your dad build a jam room?
Me and my dad together, because he wanted it for his band and he wanted it for me. He's like, I don't want you in the house all night. If you want to play guitar all night, go out there and do it.
Yeah.
And so anyways, when my parents were out of town, we would throw shows in there and there'd, be 150 people. We'd have the door open on the barn. People just sitting out. It was
that's a dope house show.
Oh, dude, yeah. It was... Because no one was going to fuck with us over there, you know what I mean? Like,
Bonner, are you jealous?
Yeah, I'm 100% jealous.
Bonner loves going to these house shows.
I go to there's like a Murfreesboro House Show Alliance when I was in college.
Oh, damn.
I was just like fucking moshing in people's living rooms.
Oh, this is what it was, yeah. Dude. And it was like way more. I mean, I've never inviting 20 people, but it was like, it just kept catching on.
Yeah, that's what this was. We had like the Kirkwood House and just like fucking crazy shit and like anything but clothes parties. And
dude, we were smoking weed on my roof and some kid just puked on the roof. And I'm just like, the fuck am I gonna, I'm like, hopefully it'll storm before my parents come back. Like, we had some wild shit, but man, we were just always kind of rocking and we just getting better and better and better. And I had met this one producer in town. His name is Steve Hodge, and he produced like he worked with like Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, who did all of the Michael Jackson and they're like two of the biggest producers of all time. Mm-hmm. But he was like their mix guy. But I somehow met him, and I just was like bothering him, like, dude, would you ever record my band? We'll pay you, whatever. And he's like, all right, send me some songs. And then he finally kind of took us under, and we recorded some stuff. And during all that same time, it was like people just started reaching out to me. I don't know, they just heard the buzz. We had a lot of MySpace friends or whatever, like I said. And then we were kind of playing gigs downtown and just kind of started doing something. And I also was like, hey,
were y'all living here?
No, we were in Minnesota still.
Okay.
And then I met someone that said, man, you should really go down to Nashville and write. Or like, I want to put one of your songs in this commercial on MTV. And I was like, oh my God, awesome. It's like, you got to sign up for like ASCAP or CSAC or some shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool. And then I met this guy from CSAC, and he's like, man, well, he convinced me to sign with CSAC. And he's like, man, if you should really come down here and co-write, And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, you write with other people. Like, I have tons of writers that could help you, write or whatever. I love your songs, but come down and check it out. So I came down here and stayed on the dude's couch, and he booked me like 1 week of writing. And after the first write, I was like, oh my God, this is what I've been missing. Because no offense to my band, they're all like fine musicians, but they're not songwriters. Mm-hmm. So when you're only surrounded by people that are, they're not. I'm only pushing myself, right? Yeah. When you're in a room with another person, you're immediately like, "Oh wow, that person's good," and you just step up to their level a little bit, or you learn something. And the first week I was here, I was like, "Oh man, I was like addicted to." I was like, "This is awesome."
Were you writing rock stuff or country stuff? Because you were coming from the rock world. You come down to country music town. Right. What was that like?
Right, because I was thinking that I'm like, "Oh, I'm doing rock," and then what am I gonna do in Nashville? And then I was like, "Oh no, I'm like, Kings of Leon are here. KG Elephant was here. They're all starting." I was like, well, that's kind of cool. And all the country writers I wrote with were kind of ex-rockers, and they were all like, thank God we can do some rock a little bit, because I think you get burnt out on doing the same thing. Not that, whatever. But it's funny because even when I did come down, then I would bring songs back, and everybody up there would be like, man, it kind of sounds country. Because it's got a little Nashville flair lyrically or whatever. I don't know, phrasing, I don't know. But that's kind of how it started. And then I started taking trips. I'd go back up there. I would work a job. I was painting houses. I was working for my dad on the farm. Save enough money to come back down here, write 4 or 5 more songs, then come back. And I'd sleep on someone's couch, drive back up 15 hours. And then we started making we made a couple EPs, and that's when Atlantic Records started reaching out to me. And I was just like, my email, I just get all these random emails. This is so and so from Universal Music Group.
Were you just like selling a bunch of CDs, or was it like all MySpace back then, or like?
Yeah, we were selling CDs at our shows and shirts, and then like, anyways, so I was just a hustler, man. I was just always calling people, bothering people. Like I had no shame, dude. I'd be like, can we open for you guys or whatever? I'd be calling venues like, can we play there? We can pack it out, and like not knowing if we could. Yeah. I mean, we'd go after shows at the arena downtown, and we'd be handing flyers out, thousands of them, and people just throw them on the ground, but we didn't care. We just did it. But anyways, that's kind of how it started, and then it was really wild how, you know, all these big labels started reaching out to me, and I'm like, how the hell did you guys get my number or whatever? It just kind of spread, and shit. We did like, Atlantic got real serious, and then they flew us to New York City. Never been to New York City, fly to New York City and did a showcase for them, and the guys taking us out to dinner and everything, and we play, and there's like 4 people in the room just with their arms crossed, like, and we play 4.
Y'all just rocking out.
We're rocking it out as much as we can, but there's no vibe in there, and whatever. And then we're like, cool. So now what? And then like they call us like next week, and they're like, yeah, they're just don't know if you guys are quite ready yet or whatever. And we're like, fuck. And then so we go back to where it's like, whatever. We're punk rock. We're just gonna keep doing this. We're DIY, like, and that summer, all of a sudden, like 2 weeks after that, I thought, oh, there goes our big shot, right? Well, a week later, like Epic Records, we're going to sign you. Fly us to New York. We fly to New York. We play for everybody. We meet everybody. And the girl that was going to sign us, she was just like, loved us. We play the gig afterwards. She's like, it was this famous guy, Charlie Walk, who ended up running Republic Records after that, but he was the president at the time. And I'm walking out of the venue, and he's like, we're signing you, dude. You guys killed it. And I'm like, yes, here we go. Yeah. And like a week later, they're like, Charlie Walk exits Epic Records. And I'm like, damn, fuck. And it was just like that. And then we went for Universal Motown, and we did this and did that, and nobody signed us. And then finally somebody offered me and said, hey, Candlebox is looking for an opener, but you got to buy on. It's like a couple grand to buy on. And I'd never even heard of that, but I was like, whatever. If the clubs are packed, we'll sell merch. Fuck it. We'll do it. Because we didn't have an agent or anything. We didn't know how to get on tour. And all of a sudden, we got on this tour. And then on the middle of that tour, this was all within like a year maybe. And on that tour, somebody called me from...
Candlebox, sorry.
You know, I know,
I haven't
dude.
thought about that band in forever.
What year is this?
This is 08.
Yeah.
Yeah, 08, yep. And
I was just barely even sober.
Because I wasn't even in high school yet.
Yeah. Damn, I'm old. Shit.
How old are you?
I'm about to be 34 in August.
Oh, damn, I'm older than you.
Yeah. But anyways, it was 08, and so then we're just like, fuck it, let's go on this tour. That'll be awesome. And then in the middle of that tour, this guy, and we had a manager at the time, but he kind of wasn't, he was kind of whatever. Yeah. And then this label called me and said, hey, we're called Photo Finish, and we're a subsidiary of Atlantic. And I was like, well, we already played for Atlantic. They passed on us. And he's like, no, they got a whole new team there, and we'd sign you with them. And there's a whole new president now, because there was like a whole new A&R staff. Because shit changes, fast. And I was like, whatever, we already played for them. But so he's like, we're going to come to your show in New York, and if we love it, we're going to sign you guys. And so then we played at Irving Plaza with Candlebox. And
hell yeah.
There was a guy in the front row with 2 middle fingers up the entire time, like this when we played. He's like, fuck you suck. And the label's like right behind, they're all watching us. And I'm like, he had so much stamina. I was honestly impressed.
You were demoralized. You were just like the whole.
He was like, he just hated it. We could have played, the greatest show of all time. Yeah. And he was like, Candlebox, fuck you. We're like, and then I'm like going like, we're definitely not getting signed tonight. And I got off stage, and the guys from the label were like, there was 2 different labels there, and Roadrunner came too, but they were kind of being quiet. And I was like, this is the usual. We're gonna get passed on again. We've been passed on 8 times, and then finally I walk over to the Photo Finish guys, and they're like, get over here, and I'm like, what's up? And they're like, we're signing you. Let's take a shot. I'm like, I'm 18, dude. They're like, fuck it. And dude, the next morning I had a record deal, and it was like that fast. And then shit just meant.
Is that back when they were giving like advances, like big advances?
We didn't get a huge advance, and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you were there for it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm like, and then my attorney's like, they negotiate the deal. And I didn't know it. I had no clue what anything was. You know what I mean? Yeah. And but next thing I know, it was like it happened pretty fast. And then we got an agent, we got a manager, and within like 6 months, we're like on tour with The Used. they're like, hey, you guys want to go on tour with the Used? Then we're on a tour with Chevelle.
Fuck yeah.
And we were like just playing with our heroes all of a sudden. We were like, and we were opening for Puddle of Mud. We'd be like, oh, you got 6 dates with Puddle of Mud. And I'm just like, what the fuck? This is awesome. Yeah. And man, I loved it, man. It was everything I wanted, you know?
So you told me this story last week that was like, I can't remember. You went to see some band and you like told your guitar player, you were like, that's what we need to do.
Yeah. So we were, this is kind of right before, probably like 07 when I was still in high school. We went out to LA and we saw Avenged Sevenfold. Yeah. And I was like, it was City of Evil tour. And we were like, damn, if we could only do what they're doing, we got to start a fucking band. And that's when we did. And in like 2010, my manager, like we had just finished our album in the studio. We had done some of these dates. And then my manager was like, hey, and my agent were like, we just got you a big tour. Like, I'm about to send you an offer. And it was 55 shows with Avenged Sevenfold and Disturbed in huge amphitheaters. And I was like, fuck yes, dude. It was a whole summer, dude. We got a bus. It was like everything you think of. But we kind of just full circle moment when I thought about that show I went to. I bought a ticket to that show. And next thing you know, I was like opening for those guys, which was awesome.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, how cool is that?
Yeah.
Full circle moment.
Mm-hmm.
How wild are those shows? Because like I've seen like, I guess like the festival ones from like Rock Am Ring and like the big ones out in Europe when they get like the pits going and like the guys from Avenged Sevenfold. Like how wild. And you have Disturbed there. And that's like the heyday for both of those guys.
Yeah. I mean, this was like, 2010. They had just put out a big record. And we actually did that tour, and then we went right into we got along really well with Avenged, and then they invited us to go out to another tour. It was us, Hollywood Undead, Stone Sour, and Avenged in arenas. And that was fucking, it was called the Nightmare After Christmas tour, because I think their record was called Nightmare. That was their single. Yeah. It's your fucking nightmare. Yeah. Oh, but dude, man, they had this thing where at the beginning of the show, this guy, one of their crew guys would walk around up in the rafters on the rigging or whatever. Yeah. And then he had a noose, and then like the beginning of the show, the light would go up to the guy, and his name was Cowboy. He would walk up on the rigging. He was a lighting guy. He'd walk up with no harness. Didn't give a fuck. I was like, dude. But he'd walk up there, and then the spotlight would go up there, and then all of a sudden he would just jump off like with a noose on his neck, and then just go wow, and hang like he looked like he killed himself. And then as soon as he landed, as soon as the rope like snapped, they had one of those big cannons. And if you didn't know what the first night of the tour, I was like shitting my pants.
Yeah,
like,
you do that shit now, your ass is canceled.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah, dude. Yeah. So it was great, but yeah, those shows are wild. But it was really fun to. I don't know. It's just fun to meet your heroes, man, and do our thing. We weren't making any money. You know what I mean? Like that was the one thing I thought. Whatever. I didn't really care at the time, but we just were always sleeping in the van. Mm-hmm. We would get $250 a show for the whole band. Yeah. Everything. Yeah. That's for your gas and your hotel and everything. And we would just.
So you're just going in the red, but
we would just make it work, dude. We would hustle CDs, man. We would walk around with boxes of CDs. I remember the second show of one of the Avenged tours. We were in Boston, and the rigging was just not. They wouldn't let cherry pickers come in. They couldn't get their rigging up, and then they're like, "We're gonna have to push you guys back like a little bit. You're gonna have to cut a song." And we're like, "Okay, whatever." And then they're like, "All right, it's getting worse. You're gonna have to cut 2 songs." And we're like, "Dude, we only have a 30-minute set, or whatever." So now we're 20 minutes or whatever. And then finally, the tour manager came in, and he's just like, "Hey, look, boys, it ain't happening tonight. We're gonna have to cut you guys." And I'm like, what? It was the second show of the tour, and I'm like, shit. And the Avenged guys came in, and they're like, dude, we're so sorry. This is not up to us. Like they have a strict curfew, and like they were making Stone Sour cut, they were making everybody cut, but it just cut down. They had to do everything by hand or whatever. But then we were like, well, what the fuck are we gonna do? And they're like, you still get paid. I'm like, oh yeah, our $250. Like, great. Yeah. That'll pay for our gas. And so we were like, fuck it, what are we gonna do? And we grabbed boxes of CDs, and we walked out to in the middle of the arena in the crowd, and we're like, CDs, and they're like, who are you guys? We're like, we're supposed to open, but they wouldn't let us. And then, dude, we sold like 300 CDs that night.
Hell yeah!
And we made like $3,000 or something, and we were like, we made it work, you know. So that's just what you have to do, I guess.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I noticed being on tour with Kid Rock that like his fans still buy the CDs. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just a different era of like time. Like I remember. I don't know, this was probably 10 years ago. I opened for Chris Chance. Like when Buy Me a Boat was like right before it got big.
Yep.
I remember him saying on stage, he was like, we got CDs for sale in the back, which those things won't be a thing much longer.
Right.
You know? Yep. And now people like, I mean, I know my fans love to buy physical copies of CDs. We sell them at the show and I'll sign them or like whatever. But like for the most part, it's like, what is that?
No, I know. I have CDs from like when I go on tour. I try to tell other artists like if they're going on, I'm like, you got something to sell.
Yeah.
You know, because you got to have something to sell. Merch is everything. I mean, we would have never survived those tours. We would have been broke. We just hustled our way through it. You know.
What was that band out of Birmingham? They were like a rock band.
St. Paul?
No, I can't think of their name right now, but they would like tour. I think Aerith did some shows with them for a while. He like played guitar. Anyways, but I remember they used to just like the money, like their band was like a business, and then whatever they made on the shows just went into the business account, but they paid each other like a percentage of merch. Like that's how they made money.
No, exactly. That's how we made it work. But yeah, we kind of had
Within Reason. That was the name of the band.
Oh, nice. There you go. There's so many of those bands back from that day. And I was, we were close to being, just we did our first record, and then our first single comes out, goes to like 33, and then it falls off. And then all of a sudden I wasn't hearing much from the record label,
Yeah.
But we had done that tour, and I'd met the guys from Octane on XM. And the one guy, Jose, the main host.
I listen to Jose on Octane.
He fucking loved us, and he was like, hey, I'm going to play this song, Race to the Bottom. And it has motherfucker in it 13 times.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
In every chorus, double chorus. I said it in the verse. I just didn't give a shit. And I wasn't thinking about radio. I was just thinking about what I thought was
the
cool.
vibe, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
And he started playing it because XM, you can say whatever you want. And it started reacting. And then all of a sudden the label called me, and they're like, hey, you're selling 1,000 downloads a day. And then there's like, you're selling 2,000 a day and 10,000. And we were like, shit. So then we kind of went to radio, and we got to... The problem with it was they started playing it so early that all the last stations the first stations were burnt on it by the time the last stations got it. It was like moving the big needle was hard, like Cumulus was the last big, we had all these others, we had the clear channel stations, but then by the time Cumulus added us, some of these ones were dropping off, but we got to like 12 or something like that. And we sold a lot, and it was a big deal for us, And so then all of a sudden we were like, shit, now we were showing up to places and people were coming, which was awesome. But then it was like at the end of that year or something, we had another single come out, and it got to like 25 or something like that. And then at the end of that year, we went back to New York because somebody changed at the label, and they're like, well, they said, your option's up to do your next record, like with Atlantic or whatever. And they're like, hey, can you come up and play for the president? And I told my manager at the time, I'm like, what, dude? Like, I've been signed to this label for 4 years. You didn't see me? My picture's up there on the wall. They're like, he wants to come see the new songs or something. I'm like, okay. So we went up there and played, and this is not talking shit. I mean, this is just what it is. Like, so I went up there and played, and we killed it, you know? And I played the songs that I was going to record on my next record, which is a whole other story, but I played those songs, and we killed it. And then they're like, I got a call right before Christmas. Hey, buddy, they got too many rock acts already, and they don't have a spot for you. They don't have a person for you.
Yeah.
Your A&R person left and went to Republic, and I'm like, great. So then we got dropped right before Christmas, dude. Worst feeling in the world, dude.
Great news.
Like, yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
But then we ended up regrouping and signing another deal with their label called Imagine Records, and the drummer of the band Seven Dust, you guys know Seven Dust?
Yeah.
Morgan Rose, he was like the A&R. And we made a record with them, and man, they just kind of let me. They loved what I did, and they loved the songs, and they just like, go make a record. And I did. Me and my friend Kevin Kadish, who I still work with here today, that's whose house I was at today. We made this album, and I thought it was a masterpiece in my mind. I was like, this is the best thing I've ever done. And we spent 3 months every single day, me and him, didn't do nothing else, song by song by song by song. And then we turned it in. We go to radio, same thing, get to like 33, fall off the chart.
Damn.
Start going like, hey, can you go on this tour? They want to pay you $100 a show at first to 4. I'm like, so what? We're going to go on at like 6 p.m. No one's going to see us.
Yeah.
Can't even sell merch because it's only a 500 cap room we were going to play.
Mm-hmm.
And no tour support. And I was just like, I was about 25 at the time, and I was just like, you know what? Fuck this. Yeah, this is not what I've already played every city.
Yeah, it's like I've learned now.
Yeah, and I was just like, you're asking me as a grown man to go do this? You want me to go play for $100 for all of us?
Yeah.
We can't even fill one tank of gas with that. And well, you're just gonna have to make it work. And I was like, I ain't making that work. I'm done.
I'm not doing it.
It was just, it had gotten to it was just like, that was the lowest point, because I was just like, man, I'm not a slave, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I deserve I'm not trying to be a millionaire. I just didn't want to sleep in the van the rest of my life, you know? And I just decided right then, I was like, you know what? This isn't for me. I've already done this. I'd spent 5 years just touring with that first record, sleeping in the van, making no money, you know, and I've played every shithole
fucking grinding.
Yeah, 15 times, dude. Like, I've played Bogarts in Cincinnati, which is a great club, don't get me wrong, but I played there 8 times, dude, you know, like, and I'm like, how many more times can I do this and not even be able to pay my rent at the end of the month, right?
Yeah. Is that something that's different between the rock world and the country world? Because I have
Big
buddies that
time.
are in the rock scene in New York, and like they say that it's like, as I tell them like what it's like touring with the country acts that I've been
Dude.
out with compared to the rock world, like as far as coming up as an opener, like
Oh, dude, totally different. It's so weird. I don't know why it's so different. When I started doing my own solo country shows, they're like, yeah, they'll give you $3,000 to go play this show. And I'm like, really? Like, we would get nothing, and we had a hit on the radio. I'm like, we get like $1,500 after we had a hit. And I'm like, really? And I had nothing going on as a country, but they just take care of each other way more. And I don't know what it is. I mean, I guess it's a bigger market. I guess that's the main thing. But anyways, that's when I said, all right, I just told my manager, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I just didn't see the path to success. You know, I was like, it's not that I didn't believe in myself. I just thought I don't got the right squad or something. Something is just not all working here, and I'm kind of sick of it. So I stopped then, and then that's when I really said, I'm gonna just write songs. You know what I mean? For a while, and just see
Were
what.
you living here during all
At that point, I was living here. On the second
record.
record, I moved here and to work with Kevin on that record, and I was painting houses.
Yeah.
Even when I had a record deal, I was painting houses.
Yeah. I mean, I get it, man.
You know, it was like
I remember when I was putting out songs 2-3 years ago. I mean, I sold my car. I mean, I would work with my stepdad, like, you know, whatever I could to make money, keep the dream alive.
Absolutely. And so at that time, Kevin, who I'd worked on that record with, he had written the song all about that bass. And at the same time, like Megan and I, we had met back then because she was nobody then. When I was making my record, and she got a record deal, and we were friends and everything, and she's like, "What's up with your record?" And all of a sudden hers was like,
Yeah.
and she was just gone. And I'm like, worked with the same producer, same writer, but it's just like some things are just like made in the stars or whatever, you know. And it is obviously super hard to compare yourself, right? You're like, I was like friends with this girl and my friend Kevin. He's like, dude, I love your record, but this just worked. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. And so then, anyways, Kevin had sold his catalog or whatever, and he was like, I want to do a co-venture with you. I believe in you as a writer. I don't know what you want to do after your band, but I just think you could write songs. And so he signed me to a publishing deal. Like, this is about 5 years ago now. And gave me a microphone, and I had Pro Tools, and I just started writing songs.
Did you know how to Pro Tools before? Like, when did you learn that?
I kind of had a little bit of I kind of knew a little bit. Whenever we were making a record or mixing or whatever, I was watching. I was like, what are you doing there? I was watching him edit. And I just kind of would ask a little bit, like, what's that? Well, that's compressor. That's this. I just watched. But dude, 5 years ago, I wasn't very good.
Yeah.
But I just did it every single day.
Well, you're really fucking good at it now.
Now I'm real good at it, but I was okay. I knew the concept, but I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Now but 5 years of that, of just doing it every single day. But so then I started writing country songs, and I wrote a couple that everybody started getting excited about. I wrote this one called Family that Craig Wiseman heard, and then he said, I want to write with that kid. And then I wrote one with him called Sleeves, which is one of my biggest songs about my tattoos. And that's when I really started being like, oh, okay, because I was telling autobiographical stories about my own life. And I love the storytelling in country. You know, I got bored of writing rock songs, and it's funny because you go back and forth. Now I might be like, okay, I've said everything you can say in country.
Sometimes you're like, fuck, I just want to rock.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I had done that, and I just felt like.
When did Fire the Night Up? Is that
Fire Up the Night?
Fire Up the Night, sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah.
I'm a piece of shit.
No, you're good, dude. When did that hit?
When did that hit? Because, I mean, that song's got like a ton of streams.
Man, so during all this, I started doing country, and I'm just like head down, go doing that, and like, you know, I had just made peace with the band. I just thought we did it. Look, honestly, in my life, I could go back and look and say it's not like I didn't fucking try.
Yeah,
I tried hard as fuck. I got 2 record deals. I had a song on the radio. I played arenas. I toured the world. It didn't end up how I thought it was supposed to end up, but that's okay. And so I was just head first into writing songs and doing country. And when all that starts happening, our Spotify, you know, is starting to, you know, be more popular, and we just kept getting some more we're like 60,000 monthly listeners. Oh, that's pretty good. 100,000. And then we had a different song that was our most popular song, and then all of a sudden Fire Up the Night kind of went into the number 1 spot on our thing, and then all of a sudden just kept going. And at one year I thought, wow, we're at 300,000 monthly listeners.
Yeah.
And then it was like that song had 10 million streams. Then it was like it just kept going and going until today. It's still crushing it today.
Going.
Like we have almost 700,000 listeners now, and that song's got 50 million on Spotify, 10 million on Pandora, 10 million on Apple, 15 on YouTube or something like that. It just keeps going. And that was like this big blessing. It was almost like something from God or something, just kind of saying like, hey, don't close the door.
You're doing the right thing.
Don't close the door on that yet.
Yeah.
You know, or something. I don't know. And so about 2 years ago during the pandemic, I was thinking to myself, everybody in town try to talk me out of like, you can't do 2 things. You can't be a country guy and a rock guy.
Yeah.
You know? And I was like, I listened for the first few years, and then during the pandemic, I just was like, why the fuck can't I? You know, like.
But the truth is, man, like just sitting here talking to you, you know, and listening to your story, that's your fucking grind, dude. That's
Right.
what, you know, it was either going to be farming and playing music like your dad.
Right.
You know what I mean? You do all that shit.
And I just love working on music and just, and I've really found a great, you know, I've found a great set of collaborators in Nashville too, like meeting this whole town. And what's funny is like now I'll even write rock shit with like Craig or something. Like he's like, let's write something for your band, dude, or whatever. But I've seen people like Jelly Roll do like, hey, he's doing rap, country,
yeah.
and rock
Doing
on
it
one
all,
record.
baby.
It's all in there now. I mean, look at Hardy.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at
Hardy's
Hardy.
doing it. And
Look
I
at
remember,
Coetzel. There's so much out there.
totally, dude. And I'm like, that's our generation, I think. I'm like, bro, I had a mixed CD, you know. I
Yeah,
had,
with Tupac.
bro, yeah,
you know,
Chesney, and then like
some Metallica.
Eminem and Metallica,
Yeah,
Black
yeah.
Album and shit.
you listen to that shit all night long.
Dude, I would do just song for song, and still to this day, I still love listening to all these genres, or whatever. But yeah, so these last couple of years, I put a song out. Me and Kevin wrote a song called "Die Trying." I'm like, let's just try one more song just to see if anybody's listening. And all of a sudden, that song got 5 million streams, and I'm like, well, that's not bad. And then I put another song out called "Fuck It" that's doing really great now. But and now we're playing our first show again with Disturbed.
Let's go.
and Chevelle. And after
And
all
you're
these
getting
years,
paid.
and I'm getting paid
Yeah,
this time,
yeah,
and
let's
it ain't
go.
$250.
Yeah.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of amazing, and I love making music. I mean, the fact that I get to make music for a living, that's my number one, you know, greatest, you know, goal. That was my biggest goal. And I just keep thinking like, I'm going to do it until they say I can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like until someone's like, all right, no more for you.
Yeah.
You
So
know?
how did you write? How did you get into writing Beach Cowboy and?
Yeah, so I was
And all that stuff.
a couple years into my first deal with Kevin. Like the first couple years of my publishing, I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and I was just writing for this and that, and really writing for myself. But I didn't have any business writing for anybody else. Everybody thinks you can just come to Nashville in your first year.
Yeah.
I mean, once in a while, some people get, you know, not lucky, but just things just work
Just
out.
fall in.
But most of us have to figure it out for a bit. And I wrote about 200 shitty songs and then started figuring out after that. But then I met Troy Tomlinson at Sony, who was running at Sony ATV at the time. He heard my song Sleeves, and I ran into him at breakfast, and he's like, man, I love that Sleeves song, and I'd love to work with you someday or whatever. And then my publisher at the time was like looking for an admin for my stuff and was like, hey, what if you go to Sony? They can do your creative services or whatever. So that's when I met Dane Schmidt. And Dane,
Love Dane.
Yep, Dane's another Minnesota guy. So I knew his MySpace band, Jamestown Story. Shout out.
He had a.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
My
yeah.
spacers all linking up.
Oh, bro, he
I'm
had it
finding
going
that
on.
shit when we
You
get
got
down
to.
here.
He's gonna kill me.
I'm gonna
for
put it
saying
on my
that.
story and
He's gonna
tag him.
kill- He's gonna kill me.
What's it called? Do it right
Jamestown
now.
Story.
Thank you, MySpace Tom.
Yeah, but him and Jordan, his brother, you know, his brother Jordan wrote God's Country. Jordan's
Yeah.
crushing. He's
Jordan's awesome.
He's great too. But Dane started hooking me up with people, and he was, you know, he had worked.
Look at that.
That's it, dude. Let's go, Dane. Dude, he's got some streams too, bro.
Dude, he does. 4 million?
Come
2
on,
million?
baby.
What's your favorite on here?
I don't even remember.
You don't remember?
Yeah.
Cool. You don't listen.
Yeah. It's been about
Just
10
book
years.
my rights, all right? They're not
come on,
listening to your
dude.
music.
I'm not listening to your demo, Dane. Goddamn it. But yeah, I met Dane, and Dane really quickly. Him and I, he knew what I you know, what my strengths were and stuff, and started putting me in new rooms. And that's when he put me with this kid Red Farron, and who signed to Tree Vibes, and I started working with him a bunch. And then some of the songs we were turning in were getting to Brian and Tyler from FGL. And they just kept saying, who'd you write this with? And he's like, Jake Rose. And then another one, who'd you write that with? Jake Rose. And they started getting that name, I think, and they go, okay, well,
Yeah, it's like anytime you want to get anything across, you got to hear the name or see it 7 times before it becomes a thing.
Totally, yeah. One time you're like, oh, whatever. And it was just finally a combination of stuff. And then there was a song we wrote with Red Farron that me and Michael Whitworth and Red Farron wrote that one day I was like fucking around with some rap shit. And because Red Farron was like a rapper, but he's doing country. And I was like, well, let's just do a rap country song kind of thing, because who cares? We're just fucking around today. And we wrote this song called Countryside, and that's what FGL cut that song. They heard it and they were like, this is dope. We love this. We're cutting it. So then I got a Florida Georgia Line cut, and that's when I think I was really on their radar then. And then we had another song. It didn't end up making the record. Redfern actually cut it recently, but we had another song. They were like, we're cutting that one too. And I was like, holy shit, 2 FGL cuts. And then so then I started getting in with Brian. And he's like, hey, I want to write with you or whatever. And so we wrote a couple of times. But then during the pandemic, we had written like once or twice. And I thought it went okay. But I was like, the first time Brian and I wrote, it was me, him, and Kane and Smith. And I forgot a stupid ass dongle for my laptop. And I had like 8 tracks I was going to play. I made all these tracks. Damn. And I was like, I was freaking out to get to his house. And he's like, hey, man, no sweat, dude. Don't worry, man. We'll figure it out. I'll get my assistant to go get us something. And I was like, no, I was like trying to be all prepared, and that got me all fucked up. Yeah. And then his assistant brought a thing, and we ended up writing something totally different, and it was fine. But I was in my head about it, like, well, I fucked that up. Yeah. But then we ended up writing one more time. Like, it was kind of during the pandemic. He came to town for something, and then he hit me up in Red Farron, and we wrote. And then he's like, man, I'm kind of trying to write some of these beach songs. Like, I'm kind of doing a record, I think. And he was trying to kind of dabble in it, dipping his toes in there. And then he's like, man, would you guys want to come down to the beach and write? And I'm like, hell yeah.
That ain't a bad little retreat right there.
Yeah, down in Grayton. And so then we went down to his house for one trip, and then turned into like a few weeks later, come back down again. Let's do it again. And then he's got a really good vision for what he wants. Yeah. A lot of times, like, everybody will show up to a write with him and thinking like, oh, I got this title about, don't do this on the beach, but beach this, beach that, beach beer, but party this, but, and he has his own he a lot of times has a title, and it was just me and him and Red Farron on this trip, and he just was like, he came in and he's like, man, I got this title, Beach Cowboy. He's like, we were the night before, we were on the beach having beers and whatever, and this guy comes up with like leather skin and a Yeti and like a cowboy hat on and whatever, and he's like the mayor. I can't remember his name's Mark or something in there. He's like that. He's a beach cowboy. Like he just is out here every day drinking beer. He's retired. His skin's like leather. That's the energy we're trying. And he said that, and he's like, man, I got to go run and take a call for like 30 minutes, but I'll be right back. But like, just marinate on that. And I had this track, and I started playing this kind of calypso track. Yeah. I had that made. Yeah. I was like, I don't know, this is kind of a weird track. And then immediately Brian leaves, and then Red Farron's like, yeah, they call me Beach. And I'm like, that's it, dude. We like high-fived, and we started writing a verse. By the time BK came back, we're like, dude, check this out. And he just like, we played it, the chorus, like kind of, we didn't have it all, but we had a little bit of it. And he's just like high-fived us like, that's it, boys, let's go. That's awesome. And man, that trip, we ended up writing like Horses on the Beach, I think, of that trip. I think we got like, and Highway on the Water, same day. We had like three cuts in one day. Yeah. And it was like, when you're on the right project with the right people, and they got they have a direction, it's a lot easier than just guessing,
Everything kind of falls together.
Yeah. So that's kind of how that happened. And
working on. You got to produce that track, right, too? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those things where, again, it was like I was in Key West on vacation with my wife, and I was like, our business, we never turn it off, right? We're just always on. We're always answering the calls late. You called me the other night late. Yeah. I'm like, I'll answer what, because we're hustlers, I just brought my Apollo and my laptop just in case anything came up. I had sent, Corey Crowder was producing the record, and he's like, hey, can you give me your demo for this, and this? And like, I'll take care of you. I'll make sure you get points and stuff. And I was like, yeah, no problem. So I gave him all these other songs, but I never gave him Beach Cowboy because they weren't going to cut it. And then he calls me on like a Saturday. He's like, hey man, we're in the studio with BK, and can you give me that Beach Cowboy track? And I'm like on vacation, and I look at Rach, and she's like, "I'm gonna kill you, dude." And I'm like, "I need 1 hour." And I was like, "Give me 1 hour." And she's like, "You're on the clock." So I grab my laptop, plug it in at the hotel, and I like get all the stems and send it to Corey. And then like 2 weeks later, Brian's like, "This is the first single, dude." I'm like, "That's crazy." And I'm glad I fucking brought my laptop, because they definitely would have just been like, "Nah, next."
Go with something else.
Yeah, you know.
I have 3 in my backpack right now.
Yeah, exactly. Dude,
3
you know?
laptops.
3 laptops.
That's great.
But yeah, that's kind of how that worked. And then now I'm working on a new record with Brian. He just signed a Big Machine,
Heck yeah.
and we're excited about that. We got a song called American Spirit that we wrote that's coming out July 1st.
The first, I think when we wrote My Ex Came Over, which is my next single coming out, by the way. When we wrote that, you like played it for me.
Yeah, maybe it was the demo or something at that point.
Yeah, the demo at that point. You're like, man, I wrote this song. think it's awesome. And
Yeah.
then you played it for me the other day.
Yeah,
It
the
sounds
finished
awesome.
version. Yeah, I'm excited about that. So it's been good, man. Yeah.
That's great. We got this game that we play. Mm-hmm. It's called Real DM, Fake DM.
All right, so Bonner's gonna run this.
Bonner reads it,
So
and-
I haven't seen these DMs either, so I'm playing. I'm playing with
I have
you,
the
Jake.
cheat sheet here.
Yeah, Trey likes to. Know
I would like
ahead
to
of time.
thank our friend Ross for putting these together.
Tortellini.
Yeah,
Tortorigi.
Tortellini, Tortellini, Tortorello,
God.
something Guinea.
Tostino.
So I don't know if you ever saw the videos when Dick Down in Dallas first came out. We used to get these crazy DMs from people, and I would read them on camera. And
I didn't see
respond.
that.
So that's how the podcast was born, DM Monday. So
Yeah, it was
Oh, that's
it was
great.
Instagram content that Trey and Trey
Yeah.
were doing for a long time.
yeah.
Girls
That's
were asking us
TNT.
to shit on our chat. Like,
There's this one girl that like showed up to. We played a show
Crawfish
with Hardy
Festival.
and Biloxi, and she had a sign that said "shit on my chest."
Oh my God,
it's
dude.
like,
Hey, it said Trey Lewis, please shit on my chest.
Yeah, I have it in my closet.
Oh my God.
She brought
dude.
it to the meet and greet at the
We're
merch
gonna
table.
frame
her
it.
name was Megan. She's a really nice lady.
Yeah, she was a nice girl.
People do wild shit on tour, dude. I remember so many times people would tattoo our fucking signatures. Hey, I'm
Oh,
gonna get
dude.
this.
Dude, he's got those. Yeah.
I signed a girl's ass, and she got it.
Yeah, this one girl had her tits signed, and it was like my bass player signed them. And I remember just, signing people's whatever, arm or whatever. You're doing your best, but it's like you're doing
Yeah.
it fast. And I'm like, I didn't even do it very good.
And it's like, what if I never make it? You know?
no,
what I mean?
no,
It's
my
like, this
bass
is-
player left the band after that. I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's
well,
like-
you got the wrong bass player on there now, girl.
The pressure of this is
Yeah.
just too much.
Exactly.
You know? It's like, God.
Dude, I walked
People are
by somebody the other night, and the girl had her forehead signed by Trey. I
Oh,
was
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some wild shit to
Pretty
see out there.
crazy.
Oh, yeah. They're just wild people. But, anyways, let's hear some of these.
So,
I heard you have small balls, but are they heavy?
real or fake?
That sounds fake.
He's
that
got
was,
it.
that was
Yeah,
fake.
you're solid.
He got it.
Yeah.
I did put the video up of me talking about my small balls. I think that was like first episode.
That was episode 1, talking about how Trey had small balls.
Yeah.
Baby, it's your wife. Please answer. Please.
That's real, I think. There's some crazy critters out there. That's real.
I can maybe see it. I'll go real like that.
Damn, 2 for 2.
Come on.
Damn.
Let's go.
Yeah, we have this girl's like trying to scam Alex.
Saying what?
Well, I don't know. I guess my manager's number's like on the,
It is. It's
on the
everywhere.
website.
And
Oh,
Facebook.
fuck.
So he gets all kinds of calls. Like we had this one thing, we've talked about it on here before. This lady got scammed on Instagram or something, and was where she paid $500 to meet me in VIP and was going to get to suck me off for $500. And then she got mad because it was fake and was like calling me a piece of shit, but it wasn't me. It was just a scam, you know?
Damn.
Gonna suck
And
me off
Alex,
for $500.
and Alex is like, so you're mad because you got scammed
Because you solicited.
soliciting
For
prostitution.
paying to suck you
She
off.
was like, yeah, I don't know.
Damn, dude. That's
a lot.
wild.
Yeah. I wish I was that cool. I wish we had a
Damn,
VIP.
dude.
Most places we play don't even have a green room, you know?
God, dude, I know.
We'll be playing strip clubs before long.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, as long as they pay.
Who's going to be on the next DM Monday podcast? I love listening to it. Fuck Matt Burrell.
That one could be real because there are some people
Yeah.
that love those shirts.
I'm gonna go real too.
Damn it.
It's
What?
real.
Who'd that
Right?
come?
Were we right?
Who'd that come from?
I think it's that girl that you went to high school with or something.
Isn't that funny how you kind of start getting to know fans?
Yeah.
Where you're like, I know this person.
There's a community around Trey, like for sure.
There's that girl that.
Oh, Kelly.
Yeah, that you went to high
Shout
school
out
with.
Kelly.
Shout
We
out
had that
Kelly.
same thing with my band. It would be like, and my bass player and guitar player, they had a way with the ladies, and every town I come to is like, oh man.
Now Mcilwain's got away with the ladies.
There you
They say
go,
I
buddy.
do, but I don't think so.
We had a girl that told my my guitar player that she was having his baby, and he was like, "Oh shit," I don't think he did use protection or whatever, and he's like, "Fuck, my life is over." And turns out she was crazy. She comes to Minnesota. It was like she was from like North Dakota. And she comes to Minnesota, and he made her go to get a test, and the doctor said, "Honey, you ain't pregnant." And then she's like, "You need to take that test again." And she's like, "It's 99.999% sure." And my guitar player just jumped up like, "Fuck you, bitch. Get out of my life."
Some Maury shit right
It
there.
was rough.
You
dude.
are not the father.
It was like that, dude. And it was like, people are crazy. She was like convinced. She's like, no, I'm pregnant. And he's like, what? And like for like 2 weeks, he was like freaking out. He's like, dude,
Dude,
this is
that's
it. I'm
not
about to
even
quit the
cool.
band. That
Yeah.
ain't even cool.
That ain't it.
That ain't it, bro.
That ain't it.
I remember when we were like doing shows back in the day, like playing Tin Roofs and stuff. I would hook up with girls, and like the whole time, like between the next time I talked to him, was like able to like get it in conversation, like you're not pregnant, or it's like, I would just be like, damn, I have to like quit music, and like all that shit. I feel like, I don't know, did it ever happen? We'll get back to these DMs,
Yeah.
but did it ever happen for you where like, I mean, you've been through so much shit, with the getting dropped and
Yep.
did it ever cross your mind to quit? Like, hey, maybe it's time to like hang this up.
I think after my second record deal, and I just thought the game is rigged or something. Like I just felt like there's just I wrote and here's the ironic part about that was that record that I went to Atlantic. I played Fire Up the Night when I was with Atlantic, and they said no, and they passed on me then. And then I made that record with the second label, and then they couldn't do anything with it, and it didn't do any. It was nothing.
So you put it out yourself.
Well, no, it was still out. It was just sitting there, and it was just doing nothing for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And I just was like, whatever. I was like, I made such a great record, and no one gives a shit.
Yeah.
And then it's like now, ironically, now I'm like, I knew I had something there because look at now. Now it's got 80 million streams of that record or whatever. But no, there was a second where I just thought I just needed to regroup. I was like, apparently that's not the. I'm hitting a wall every time with this thing. Like I did my absolute best on my second record. Like not that I did my first, but my second record, I just thought,
You
man,
really
I have
felt
the
like
chops now, and I was like, I really went for it, and I was like, I'm gonna have a hit. And then, of course, now it's a hit, but back then it looked like another failure, and I was like, shit, this is the best I can do, and that's not good enough, And so that point, I just knew I needed to regroup. It wasn't I'm gonna quit music. It was just I'm gonna have to do it in a different way. I'm gonna have to win some.
Yeah, I mean,
other
there's
way.
always just been like this. Up until about 4 or 5 years ago, there was always this like underlying thing of like maybe I do need to do something else, but I never talked about it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Never got too serious.
It lives
about
inside of you because I feel like as a creative person, your wheels start rolling of what you can do next.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I'm always thinking about that. And then it's like something like, it's so weird when I would play arenas, right? And then I would come home and everyone would think I'm like famous or something in my hometown. And I'm like, what's going on? And I'm like, little do you know, I'm driving Uber in Nashville because I just got dropped and I have no money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but up there, I'm like, or wherever I'd go, people are like, dude, how's the band or whatever? And I'm like, oh God, But I mean, I'd also made peace, like I said, with like, there's a piece you get when you give everything, right? Like when you're like, you know what? It's not like I didn't try.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna go to my death and go, well, I wish I would have tried to be a rock star because I fucking tried. And I did it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I had that peace of mind, but I knew I wasn't done. Just something that was telling me. I've always kind of had that hunger. And even when you get a little success now, like when I got that Floor Georgia line cut out, I was already on to the next. I was like, I got to figure out something else.
Yeah.
That's already done. Next, what's
I'm
next?
not even enjoying that. I'm
Yeah,
just
no,
kinda
totally.
keep
I was
going.
like, hopefully that works out, but I got to figure something else out.
I'm not chilling. I'm not chilling until I got like 15 number one.
Exactly.
Get after it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, what's next, Bonner?
Let me pull it back up. I'd like to use your thighs as earmuffs.
I think that one's fake.
Damn.
That's not. That's too like I don't know. I think that one's fake.
I might go real on that.
It's fake.
Dang it.
Yes. Stumped you.
Trey has this thing where if you're beating him, or if he's beating you in something, it's yes.
Yes.
Nice. There you go.
You don't need keys to drive me crazy.
That sounds fake.
That sounds like something Ross made up. That's fake.
Damn, sorry,
Try
Ross.
better,
You got
Ross.
outed.
Christ.
I'm pretty persistent and am gonna hunt you down. I want to get my hands on you.
That was real.
That sounds real.
That was real.
That's real.
That's a critter if I've ever heard one.
It is.
What's how you guys call it? Critters?
Burial does, yeah.
Yeah.
Not just me. It's a whole.
What do we
it's a
call? We
team
used to
effort.
call them
Critters.
We've done quit.
punishers. We'd call them punishers.
Punishers. Yeah, that's more rock and roll. Devil
Punishers.
horns.
Well, that was people that would you never like they'd walk around like they'd never leave you alone.
Oh, yeah.
Like, can I get a picture of you? Sure, buddy, no problem. Can you sign this? Yeah, no problem. Okay, my buddy's coming over here. Can you wait here?
Yeah.
I'm like, sure. Okay, hold on. Can you? We're gonna come take a shower, and it just keeps going.
This
and then,
doesn't
And you're in
stop.
the parking lot. Can you know? And you're like, holy shit. We always
Yeah,
call them
we call
punishers.
girls critters,
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. Got a critter in the back lounge.
but Brill kind of wore it out, so we kind of all quit saying it.
I'm from New York. I'm passionate when I talk.
Yeah,
I say a lot of the same
he's
shit.
like-
Like they
he's-
say do what and damn gummit and all their southern
Yeah.
shit. I say my things a lot and they don't fucking like it, Jake.
That's
That's
hilarious.
how it is.
I like it.
Whatever.
They
Yeah.
don't get us, man. It's all right.
But it is pretty funny because like people watch the podcast and they'll like come to the show and they'll go. Brill sells the merch. They'll come up and be like, "Man, gonna be a hell of a critter crawl tonight, boys."
Yeah, they'll look around the room. We'll be in some college town. Be like, look at all these critters. I'm like,
You know,
damn
the
it.
critters, damn, that's hilarious.
So it's worked. All right, Bonner, what you got?
I heard you were out with Kid Rock. You get me an introduction with him, and I'll let you do just about anything you want.
Ooh.
I'm like 50-50 on this.
Yeah, I'm gonna go real.
It's real.
It's real.
That's
Damn.
real? Okay.
Damn, Ross, you
People
gotta
love
step your
Kid
game
Rock.
up.
dude.
Yeah, they do, dude. It's crazy. It's like some of my like friends or people I know from back in the day. I'll like walk out in the crowd and go stand to them. They're like, "So I can't meet Kid Rock." I'm like, "No, he don't."
No,
I'm
no.
like, "All right, I'll see you later. I know that you don't give a fuck about me."
Yeah,
you know?
he was like,
It's
yeah,
like,
came here to just meet Kid Rock.
yeah, he doesn't
Exactly.
meet anybody. You know.
That's funny.
I've got a can of whipped cream and 30 minutes. Where you at?
Fake.
That's Ross or that's Alex. That's Alex bullshit.
Damn. That Taco Bell one last time was pretty
Yeah,
good.
tell
was
the
that
Taco
one?
Bell
I
one.
gotta find that one.
I said, "Have you ever had Mexican pizza from Taco Bell?" Me either. Want to fuck? It
Was it real or fake?
It was fake.
was fake, but it was good.
I
But
like
it could
that.
be real, judging by how some of these
I
real
like
ones
that.
sound.
That
Yeah.
does sound good.
Well, man, I appreciate you coming on today. I know you got some new music coming out once that's dropping.
Yeah, man. I got a new song coming out with my band, New Medicine, this Friday called "Take Me Away."
Hell yeah.
And we got a new music video out for our song "Fuck It" coming out next week. And yeah, and I got a bunch of Jake Rose music coming out as well. I just put a song out called WD-40 and Beer,
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
and that's on a Keystone Light commercial right now. So
Dude, hell yeah.
That's
I remember
awesome.
back in the day, you get 13 stones for,
Yes.
was it 13 stones for 14 bones or something like
yeah,
that?
30 stones. For
Yeah, 30, yeah.
It was 30
right?
for 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say 13 for 30. That sounds expensive,
30.
dude.
Yeah, I
That's
haven't drank in so long. I don't
No,
even know
no.
the packs. So
And you said you had there were some tour dates coming up too?
Yep, I'm going out with. We're doing this one actually next Thursday. I'm playing with Disturbed and Chevelle, and there's a couple more later this summer, and I'm just waiting to announce some more stuff. So things are good, man. Excited,
Awesome.
excited to get back out there.
where can people follow you at?
You can follow me at Jake Rose Music on everywhere, and then my band is New Medicine or New Medicine Rock. Yep.
Hell yeah.
So check us out.
Well, dude, thanks for coming on today. And, man, just, I think I work hard, but when I listen to your story, I'm like, damn, I got to step it up.
No,
So,
that's what I like about you, dude. You work hard. I like that. You're a hustler too.
yeah, I'm looking forward to writing some more songs together, man.
Hell yeah, brother.
But I appreciate you being on, brother.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, man.
Hell yeah, boys.
Please rate, subscribe, whatever, all that stuff. Thank y'all. Peace out.
Even you. She sees the writing on my wrong. She sees the best in everyone. She says I'm right on track, and when I'm not, she brings me back. She sees what only angels can. She sees me better than I am. Every day I'm still trying to be whatever she sees in me. Had a heartbreak, took it real bad, ended up
6 months in a rehab. Sober was a hard thing till I found a 6-string. Still wish Daddy could have seen that. Yeah, but Mama did.